It's time for our daily dose of cope, and we have Alona Leopard with her snazzy hat at the correspondence desk for the Leopards News Network. There are so many stories to get to. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Cutting FEMA is going to cause many states to crumble, and many of these red states went for Trump. Many of these states that are in tornado, hurricane, and flood alleys voted for Trump. They voted for him knowing he was going to cut off FEMA. Now, they're going to be tasked with cleaning this up and rebuilding without federal funds. All right, so this is an article from yesterday. FEMA denies grants to 3 Kentucky counties hit by devastating storms. FEMA denied requests for 3 Kentucky counties affected by severe storms last spring and deemed the state ineligible for hazard mitigation grants that would help prepare for future disasters. FEMA officials claimed the areas did not suffer enough damage to merit federal support in a letter issued to the governor on Tuesday, but the move is just the latest in a series of denials from the agency as the Trump administration seeks to shift the burden of responding to and recovering from disasters onto the states. Last week, FEMA also rejected Maryland's request for disaster assistance after near record level flooding in May destroyed hundreds of homes and businesses and tore into roads and public infrastructures, leaving close to $16 million in damages. People have had their whole homes destroyed, businesses destroyed, infrastructure destroyed, but not to worry. Donald Trump is building a new ballroom at the White House for $200 million. He's saying to rebuilding states, but yes to building a ballroom. You got to have some perspective. Look how glorious that looks. These people can figure out how to clean this stuff up. I really hope that the ones who voted for Trump really just relish in the fact that he is building a new ballroom. I thought that this was an interesting story that I got from the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit. This person titles it Lego Prices and Tariffs. Here's the caption. Okay, this one is a little bit silly, but I think it's valid and funny to an extent. Minor background. As someone who is a fan of Lego prices have been increasing a lot, especially this year and especially for Lego Star Wars, and it's been rubbing the community the wrong way. However, I am genuinely astonished at how little the conversation has revolved around the big elephant in the room, tariffs. All Legos are imported to the United States from one of the following countries: Denmark and Hungary at a 15% tariff, Mexico unknown but up to 25% if Legos don't qualify under USMCA, Vietnam 20%, and China between 30 and 50%. Recently, however, I have interacted with a lot of friends and acquaintances who voted for Trump. They all are complaining about these increasing in prices, especially all the sets that came out following Liberation Day, which we're calling Liquidation Day as well, because they are liberating you from your money. All right, it says, but the cope here is insane. Whenever I pointed out the one obvious glaring thing that 100% led to the recent increase in prices, Lego literally said as much when they released some of the sets in question. All I get is denial, insults, or both. I find it so funny how all of these people and so many Lego influencers outright voted and vocally supported Trump, but yet have the audacity to still complain about the increase in prices induced by tariffs that they voted for. They absolutely voted to have a lighter pocket due to Liberation Day, liberating them of their money. Obviously, though, buying Lego sets is a luxury and it's not something that's a necessity. So these people probably still have food, whereas some people are running out of food. I had to get to this one. Lego Star Wars fans supported a Sith Lord who openly admitted he was a Sith Lord by uploading a picture of him as a Sith Lord, and these fans are still in denial that said Sith Lord is, in fact, a Sith Lord. And we have a picture, so I'm totally sure that that happened. Facehugger says, vote for the guy who wants to increase taxes on foreign goods. Foreign good prices go up. Maybe you should have looked into what tariffs are before you voted for the spray tanned PDF file. Nah? I mean, that would make sense to me, but they're going to continue to cope. NBC just put this out. It says swing voters who were key for Trump in 2024 have mixed reviews so far. Now we're going to start with Jorge. I'm not doing this whole article. It says Jorge noted that he's seen ICE agents in his Hispanic community in Florida. He also said he was recently pulled over by a local law enforcement officer who asked to see his identification. I'm an American who now has to be afraid, Jorge said, adding that he was not surprised by the focus on deportations given Trump's campaign rhetoric. Still, he criticized the administration for not distinguishing between immigrants in the country illegally with criminal records from those who work and benefit our society, an issue that has stuck out in polling on Trump's immigration agenda. It's disappointing, Jorge said, later saying of Trump, he thinks he can take just anyone. Oh my God. Y'all know what's coming. I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Everybody. Now we have Janice. Janice is 82 of North Carolina, says she was thoroughly disappointed in Trump so far, pointing to the sweeping federal employee layoffs that marked the early weeks of his second term. She also voiced concerns that high prices have not come down. He said he was going to get gas down. He was going to get groceries down. Now he put tariffs on half the stuff we buy and things are going up, up, up. I feel like a lot of his plans are backfiring. You don't say. The whole tariffs thing. So we got Jorge over here voting for someone that talked about mass deportations. And you got Janice here that's upset about tariffs. And both of these things were in the campaign. These people. And now finally, this is a person named Ray. Ray said, this is another one of Trump's policies that he said he would do, but he hasn't really, which is cut government, cut taxes on the little people. He has been cutting government. He's definitely been cutting jobs. All right, it says, really, it's just filled with tax cuts and more bloat. But even with his concerns, Ray, a registered Democrat, said he would not take back his vote for Trump last year. Unfortunately, I would probably still vote for Trump, expecting that he might crash everything and America gets the restart, Ray said, noting that he tends to support candidates who speak their minds. So he is perfectly fine with America crumbling, and America will crumble. Many of these states are going to crumble. Houses are going to crumble, and there's not going to be very many construction people to build it back up. But he would do it again because he thinks that it needs to burn to the ground. This is the reason why I say that these people need to feel the pain of what they voted for 3 to 7 years. And it's probably about to turn to 3 to 10 years, if I'm being honest with myself. Oh my God. We have some voter regret. I voted for Trump and I regret it. During the last election, I was working graveyard shifts at a job I hated with a boss who constantly bullied me. I was exhausted and miserable, and honestly, I didn't care about politics at all. I didn't look up any of Trump's policies or plans. Everything I knew was just from word of mouth, just a bunch of excuses, just front-loaded the excuses right there. I'm a Mexican American born and raised in Utah, and my fiance, who's white, supports Trump and convinced me to vote for him. I didn't think much of it. I just went along with it, assuming nothing major would really change. One thing that swayed me at the time was the issue of same-sex bathrooms. I worked with a trans woman who said some things that weirded me out back then, not in a threatening way, just I didn't like. But over time, we actually connected. We opened up about our lives and struggles. I saw them for who they were, not a transgender, but a person. We were really different. She was into witchcraft. I'm Catholic, but I enjoyed talking with her and started to care about them as a friend. At the end of the day, who are we to judge? Looking back, I realized I never actually had a problem with them. I just didn't like some of the things they said. But I've since learned that in a world full of people, there's no point in fixating on someone just because they're different. We all have quirks, and I grew from that experience. Months later, I started educating myself, watching TikToks, learning what Trump really stood for, and seeing all the harm he's caused. I regret voting for him. It wasn't out of hate. It was out of ignorance and lack of awareness. but I still feel responsible, and you totally should. How should I feel? You should feel terrible. Has anyone else felt like this? Yes. How do you cope with the guilt of voting for someone? You fix what you have broken. You change in the midterms. I want to keep learning and doing better moving forward. So what are you going to do except write some Reddit post? Ignorant voters are the bane of my existence, and many people are, in fact, ignorant voters. I do not forgive these ignorant voters, though. They need to fix it, commit.
Guys, look, I know it was devastating to find out that Donald Trump cut funding for pediatric cancer research, but it's going to be okay because he just unveiled his plans to build a $200 million golden ballroom. It's going to look a lot like this. I don't know about you guys, but there's something about a golden ballroom that makes me want to join in and say, fuck them kids. Fuck them kids.